bring into this conversation someone who is an expert on what exactly has been going on at that conference. Of course, TVET being the body that has been mandated to, deal with training and vocation at the youth level. And she is standing by at our city center studios and is set to talk to us about what exactly has been happening at that conference today. Now, my first question to you, Madam, is, of course, just please bring us up to speed what was discussed today at the conference.
Thank you. We have discussed a lot since morning. The PS, the Minister, Director General, TVET, and many other speakers, they have highlighted the importance of TVET in our country's development today. And TVET has been highlighted a lot by all the speakers who have spoken since morning. A lot of highlights on skills for the world of work, hands-on skills from our TVET graduates and from our TVET institutions. Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, that there being Madam Mary Muthoka, she's the principal at the Kenya Coast National Polytechnic. And you have been at the forefront of training many Kenyan youth. There has been the perspective that Kenya has in the past concentrated in a very big way on university education at the expense of what we would term mid-level colleges that are dependent on skills. Do you think that has been the case?
Yes. Unfortunately, that has been the case in our country. A lot of focus has been given to university education by many Kenyans, especially the parents, and many other Kenyans. But the time has come to recognize the role being played by TVET in the world of work today. And for us to industrialize, I think everybody has seen the need for TVET, and we are very grateful for that.
Where do you think, in your view, the disconnect has been? The fact that at one level, for example, here in Nairobi, large construction projects, we have to import Chinese workers all the way from across the ocean to bring their skills to put up our skyscrapers, to put up our roads, to put up other projects. Yet these are skills that could have been homegrown had we invested in them. These job opportunities are still there. How come the youth are not trying to take these up in one way or another?
Your question, going back to your earlier question, that there has been a lot of concentration on university education, which is true. We've forgotten about TVET for some time, but in the past few years, we have seen a lot of focus being put by our government in terms of infrastructural development and on the side of equipment also. And this is turning around the situation that we've been having before, where there's been a mismatch between the market and what we are training in. We've been having a problem of obsolete equipment and also a curriculum that has not moved at the same speed as the market demands. But that is going to be a thing of the past. Actually, as I speak now, we've turned around and we are turning around TVET. So within a short time, you'll not see the imported labor that you're talking about. You'll be seeing the TVET graduates of our institution working in those skyscrapers and in many other areas of our economy.
That is indeed good to hear, Madam. But there has been the perspective that the technology transfer aspect, that these projects would have been very important for us to be able to have our youth and others sort of hosted in there to grow their skills under the supervision of the Chinese, the Germans and others who are here, and the Japanese who are here doing large-scale projects. Where are we when it comes to technology transfer? We have seen companies like Avic, the Chinese company, trying to introduce 3D printing technology here in Kenya. What is the technology transfer perspective from where you sit?
Thank you. I believe you are aware, or let me make you aware that TVET students have been exposed in the SGR project from some institutions. They have been attached there. And we have, as I speak now, and as you may have witnessed, was it last year, I believe, some of our students from one of our institutions, Kabete National Polytechnic, even made parts for export to China. And you saw our minister presiding over that, I would call it ceremony. It was a first in our country. So there is participation, and at a different level, there is what I would also call technology transfer, but this is through attachment and internship of the students when they are in their second and third year in our institution. We attach them in different companies, in different organizations, to pick up some of the real skills on the market as they happen.
My final question to you, and this is indeed a good thing to hear, especially for the youth of Kenya who are wondering about the future. Now that we have seen a sort of a shift in focus to start funding and concentrating on growing these skill sets that are so integral to growing our economy, what should the future hold? Where should we be looking to say that we don't want to go back where we were, that in 10 years we should be at this set objective? What do you think we have to get right now? And of course, going into the future, what kind of investment do we have to see in this sector to ensure that we then start to become at least world-class?
Well, thank you. Starting today and going into the future, I would like to urge all Kenyans and also enlighten them, as the PS talked this morning and as we've been advocating for in the TVET sector. Those students who miss to go to the university and they come to our institutions, we should stop using the word failure. They are not failures. When you use that, you already put a stigma in their minds that they are going to a place which is not for really the best academically. This should not be the case, and this is not the case. People are gifted differently, and young people can achieve, and they have achieved a lot through TVET education in our country and elsewhere in the world. So going forward, we should stop putting that negative connotation on the students that we admit into our colleges. This should be seen as an alternative path to higher education. It should be seen as a path that actually, after students graduate from universities, they come back to our TVET institutions and hone their skills with us. And that is happening in some part of the world, and it should be happening in our country.
Indeed.
On the other side, on where to put more emphasis in future, the government has started putting a lot of emphasis in equipping our institutions with the latest equipment, the best equipment you can get anywhere in the world. In the case of Kenya Coast National Polytechnic, which was formerly Mombasa Technical Training Institute, we have smart classrooms. I believe these are not common in any part of the world. And looking at other departments, if I had the time to take you through, we have some of the latest equipment, and our staff are being trained on how to use that equipment for training. And as institutions, we are also putting a lot of our funds also into doing that which we can as the government does the rest.
Indeed, thank you very much. That there being Mary Muthoka, she is the principal at the Kenya Coast National Polytechnic. Bring us up to speed on what exactly has been happening today at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, where Kenya is hosting the first ever Technical and Vocational Education and Training Conference, basically to bring Kenyans up to speed on the opportunities that currently exist for vocational training and growth of skills in a way that deals directly with the growth of this economy. Well, of course, the fact that these institutions are there does mean that there is indeed a lot of opportunity for Kenyans. Well, I want